Good evening and welcome to Ringer Sports Studio. Today is Monday, October the 7th. I'm Ringer Senior and I'm here with
Ringer Junior.
we are broadcasting our Monday night football edition at Ringer Sports Studio. Father-son duo talking sports, sides, totals, you name it. We're talking about it. All major league sports, all major sports, Major League Baseball playoffs, college football, NFL, soon to be NBA, soon to be college basketball. We enjoy recording, giving our tips and tricks and thoughts on different games that we like to take. So if we look at yesterday, we had another 5% play that we'll talk about in a second, and we finished dismal 7-5, 58% to the total or to the winning percentage yesterday. Wasn't a great day. However, we did have another 5% play. Baltimore over 23.5 points. Ringer Junior had that pick, as you can see in the background. That put us at 12-1 on our last 13 5% plays that we have recorded. So phenomenal run. I'm happy to say I didn't get a chance to record our picks for today in Major League Baseball with the early game kickoff with Detroit Tigers at the Cleveland Indians. However, I did have another 5% play that I did post on Twitter, moving that total to 13-1. We had Mr. Skubal over 17 and a half outs. He's just rolled through 7 innings. He now has 21 outs and a 0-0 game currently right now. So just another 5% play came in 13-1. 13-1, our last 14 5% plays. I'm telling you, if you're not watching these videos, you may as well start. Check us out on Twitter or at YouTube at Ringer Sports Studio. Give us a like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you only took our 5% plays, you'd be 13-1 in your last 14. So check things out. You can also see our other Twitter picks that we made today. We got the New York Yankees and the Kansas City Royals going under 7.5 tonight. We also have Skubal if he's still pitching under 1.5 earned runs, along with over 5.5 strikeouts, which he completed in the first 3 innings of today's game. So off to a really good start. Hoping that trend will continue. But we're here to talk about NFL Monday night action. We've got the New Orleans Saints heading into Kansas City. 5.5 point home favorites is the Kansas City Chiefs sitting at 4-0. And they're coming off some really tough wins, actually, some really close games. In fact, they technically could be 1-3 on the season, but instead they're 4-0. That's what championships teams do. They're going for the three-peat. They win the tight games. They figure out ways to win. Mahomes at the helm has had one of his worst years of his career so far in his first 4 games, but they're still finding ways to win. And they've got tons of injuries. Pacheco's out. Rashad Rice is out. Should be an interesting matchup on seeing who they go. They've got Kareem Hunt off his couch from 2 weeks ago in the starting lineup as running back to bump Steele out of the lineup. And then, of course, you look at the Saints coming off 2 huge wins to start the season. They scored on their first 15 drives. They've come back to reality. But an interesting matchup. Saints are not going to back down to Kansas City tonight. Should be very interesting. I've got 3 plays myself, all 2 props and the over-under. And then Ringer Jr. is only going to talk about some props tonight. So I'm going to go ahead and flip it over to Ringer Jr. and let him share what he has.
My first play, I'm going to look at Chris Olave over 4.5 receptions. I'm going to take this as a 4% play. In his first 2 games, he only had 2 and 4 receptions, but those games were absolute blowouts, 47-10 and 44-19. In the 2 games after that, he got 6 and 8 against 2 good teams in 2 very close games. I do think this game's going to be pretty close. I think he's probably going to get the ball, probably going to get, I'd say, 8 or 9 targets in this game, probably getting 6 or 7 receptions here. I think this game's going to be pretty close. So I'm going to look at the over 4.5 as a 4% play.
Awesome. What else you got?
Next play, this is only going to be a 2% play for me. I'm going to look at Xavier Worthy over 3.5 rushing yards. Yes, I said rushing yards for Xavier Worthy, not receiving. Pacheco is out. He has gotten this 3 out of 4 games this year. If he gets an end around or like a jet sweep or whatever, I do see him at least going for 5 yards. Last game he did not have a rush, but the 3 games prior he went over this. So I'm gonna look at the over 2.5. 3.5 rushing yards as a 2% play. Next pick, another 2% play. I'm going to look at Rashid Shaheed over 21.5 longest reception. He has gotten this in 3 of his 4 games this year. In the game he did not get this, it was a low-scoring game against Philadelphia. He had 5 targets but 0 receptions in that game. I do see him probably getting a deep ball for 25 plus here in this game, so I'm gonna look at that as a 2% play. In my last pick, I'm gonna look at Kareem Hunt over 11.5 rushing attempts. I do see KC probably being up in this game. But I do see it being tight. Hunt last week, I believe he had 14 rushing attempts. As Ezra Senior said, coming right off of his couch. I do see with Pacheco out and Steele not getting any rushing attempts last week. I see Hunt probably getting 12 plus in this, so I'm gonna look at that as a 3% play. That's my slate.
There's a slate. There you have it. Interesting prop bets. Very curious to see how Kansas City does tonight with all the injuries that they have, and obviously the Saints can put up some points. My 3 picks. I'm looking first at the over/under total sitting at 43. I'm going to take a 4% play on this game, getting up and over the total. I think the Saints are going to be able to move the ball in the air. I think Kansas City's defense is pretty strong. I believe they're going to use the passing attack to set up the run for Kamara. And if you look at the number of options they have with Alave or Lave, that the Ringer Jr. said, and Shaheed as 2 top running backs, wideouts, and then you have Kamara as the lead running back, and also their third option on the passing game. I think there's going to be able to put up the ball, and if they can get a couple of big plays and get in the red zone early, they're going to put up some points early. And I also see Kansas City putting up points at home. So I like the total here over 43. 43 and a half. I'm not sure if it's moved up to 43 and a half yet or not, but I do see this being a relatively close game. I think Kansas City's going to get 26-27. The Saints 23-24. It's going to be 47 to 50 points scored in this game. So give me the over 4% play over 43. In line with that, I'm looking at the New Orleans Saints offense, in fact, to get over 19.5. It's actually plus money here. I think you look at the number of possessions they're going to get. I think Kansas City is going to have a little bit of a harder time to move the ball. I think there may be some three and outs, or there may be some opportunities to get some quick punts from Kansas City, which is going to open up more possessions for the Saints. And if you look at the combination, 3 touchdowns in 4 quarters, 2 touchdowns and 2 field goals, they get 8 or 9 possessions and they score on 50% of those. As long as a couple of them are touchdowns, then they should be able to get up and over that 19.5 total. So give me this as a 3% play. Saints over 19.5 total points. And then my last pick, I'm looking at Justin Watson, tight end for Kansas City, over 24.5 receiving yards. And one will say, well, geez, it's going to be the Kelsey show tonight with all those injuries in the backfield and with Rashid Rice out. But it probably is. There's not too many other options after that. And Watson is known to get 3 or 4 catches per game. He might get 1 over 24 yards as a standalone. But even if he gets 3 catches a game, most of them are 12 to 14 yards. He gets 2 of those. He's over that total, over that 24.5. So I do like this. I think even 5 or 6 check down passes can add up in chunks at 7 or 8 yards per check down pass. I do think Kelsey is going to have a big game. Not really sure how much time he's going to have with probably being double teamed. But I think he's going to have a couple big plays for Kansas City. He loves to shine at home. Mahomes is trying to get back on track after a tough start, from a quarterback ranking perspective. Good opportunity to do that with the Saints on Monday night in front of multi-million number of people watching the game. So I like this to slide in. Justin Watson getting over 24.5 as a 3% play, receiving yards. So there you have it. There's our picks. We've got 7 on the docket, 4 props from Ringer Jr., prop for me, team total, first half team total for me, and overall game total. No 5% plays riding tonight. We don't want to get too many of those out. We are locked and loaded on Skubal. That one already came in. But check us out on Twitter at ColorRing12 or at Ringer Sports Studio. You'll find this video on Twitter being uploaded as we speak and getting just in time for NFL Monday night action. Have a wonderful night, everybody. Like them and cash them.